Hey folks, how's it going? Today, we're talking about the recent AI Ghibli drama. And yes, you guessed it, it's taking place on Twitter. Who would have guessed that this hell site would harbor such a thing? Also, I am a masochist for even looking at Twitter to begin with. But to my surprise, their villain of the day was none other than my arch nemesis, generative AI. Folks, I do everything in my power to avoid AI junk. Because it's an ugly, wasteful plagiarism machine that makes people dumber, lazier, and more entitled. And if you've been anywhere online lately, it's become completely unavoidable. The rampant use of AI has made being on the internet a living hell. DoorDash uses AI-generated images of foods that don't exist. Google image search is unusable because you can't filter out the real images from AI. And social media is choked up with disgusting AI memes and ads. Ads that are flat-out scams. It is completely exhausting, and I hate it here.
This sucks, man.
But recently, those big giant losers at OpenAI released their most recent generative image model, 4.0, with many of the modules being trained on various animation styles, including Rankin Bass and Pixar. But the one style that spread like wildfire was copying Studio Ghibli, the legendary Japanese animation company behind classic films like Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, and My Neighbor Totoro. But unlike other art trends, with different human artists doing their own spin on the same reference image, the AI slap generated from this became trendy on social media, and it seemed like every other account was posting a meme or selfie using Ghibli's art style. I first saw it on Twitter, but apparently it's also taking over Instagram and Facebook too, to no one's surprise. Without a doubt, the absolute worst image generated somehow came from the official White House Twitter of all places. Look, I know they don't have anything close to a standard of conduct over there anymore, but holy shit, whoever made this can go fuck themselves. Using AI to make something as awful as this is beyond tasteless. It is downright cruel. OpenAI's choice to blatantly rip off Studio Ghibli's style has been a highly controversial development, but for a pretty simple reason. Generative AI as a concept goes against everything Studio Ghibli stands for as a company. Because if there's one thing Ghibli is known for, it is for putting in a ton of work into their films. That is why people love them so much. It's not just the aesthetic, it's their level of craftsmanship and a commitment to high-quality hand-drawn animation that makes their films so memorable. Miyazaki and his team have been actively making movies for nearly 40 years now. Many Ghibli fans love their movies as cozy comfort watches to take a break from their current hellscape that we're living in right now, even for just a few hours at a time. Hey, it's cheaper than therapy, that's for damn sure. And with this notable reputation in mind, Studio Ghibli has slowly gained a very vocal and very dedicated online fan base who won't allow anything to threaten the legacy they've worked so hard to achieve. Not to mention that the majority of their best-known movies have clear environmentalist themes, with a heavy emphasis on conservation, respecting the natural world, and protecting it selflessly from human destruction and greed. You ready for the list? Here we go. Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, Nausicaa, and Castle in the Sky all feature those themes directly in their stories. It is not subtle, it's very obvious. It's not subtle, and it doesn't have to be, because it's still authentic to Studio Ghibli's values as a company. Generative AI doesn't do anything like that. It is absurdly wasteful, with both water and energy. It's pieced together using stolen artwork of independent artists scraped from the internet. And it has no actual meaning, effort, or intention put behind it. This stuff is the complete opposite of Ghibli.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit!
Any real Studio Ghibli fan would know how important their use of traditional art and environmental awareness is to their brand identity. A real Ghibli fan wouldn't go anywhere near using generative AI for anything, let alone to rip off their work to make sloppy derivative art. And thanks to the power of this shitty technology, we have quote-unquote AI art that is just as worthless as the people who generate it. Hayao Miyazaki has already gone on record as hating the use of AI for animation. Back in 2016, a group of animators tried to present him with an AI-programmed test animation of a monster moving around with its head. Yes, it's just as gross as it sounds. But since Miyazaki has a disabled friend with mobility issues, he found their concept highly offensive and the animation off-putting and gross. Miyazaki justifiably told them off for making it in the first place, saying, quote, and by the way, this is the legendary quote, "I am utterly disgusted. If you really want to make creepy stuff, you can go ahead and do it. I would never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all. I strongly feel that this is an insult to life itself." End quote. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. When you get a verbal beatdown from one of the greatest masters of anime, that's a sign to reevaluate your fucking life. And I can only imagine how much stronger this hatred of AI has gotten since then leading up to now. From my perspective, I saw people using this Ghibli module in one of three ways. First, they were people treating it as a novelty to pass time. They saw Ghibli trending online, treated the generator as nothing more than a cool photo filter, and then immediately forgot about it after making something for themselves. Now, this is the least surprising usage of it because most people just see AI image generators like that, as a digital vending machine that takes your likeness and turns it into shitty derivative art as a time waster for instant gratification. It's basic, but hey, it's predictable. Second, there were the shit posters using it on top of pre-existing memes or on photos of major historical events like 9/11 or the JFK assassination. They hopped on the bandwagon just for the meme potential, which, hey, that's not shocking at all. This is the internet after all. A lot of weird people just get into being edgy for the sake of being edgy because they're bored and want a distraction or attention. And thirdly, there were the obsessive tech bros who would not shut the hell up about how art just became accessible, or how it's over for graphic designers. But despite their petty attempts at gloating for some stupid reason, I actually saw these responses as pretty revealing. That despite what they say online, in reality, they're just actually telling on themselves. These people are demonstrating that they're lazy and don't value art as a learned skill set. They're showing that they lack the discipline, the focus, the emotional resilience to actually create art and completely refuse to learn how to do it. Instead, they're just dismissive and deflect any criticism as coming from AI haters because it's easier to complain on Twitter.com than to actually do something about their own shortcomings. So despite all of these different potential approaches for using it, I think they all share one thing in common: carelessness. Many people view AI art generators as something to try out for fun or for profit. They don't think about the long-term implications of what they're doing or how many resources are being wasted to make it happen. Yeah, I know, folks, I'm obviously getting very heated about this, but I want to briefly get into just how wasteful these things are for the environment. I haven't really gotten into that aspect from my previous AI videos, but it's definitely worth bringing up here to drive home the point for you guys. All right, ready? Ready to feel sad? Ready to feel that existential dread? Here we go. For some visual contrast, using ChatGPT to write a single 100-word email requires a full bottle of water to help cool down the servers. Every day, ChatGPT uses up to about 20 million kilowatt hours of electrical power. That is enough energy to charge 4 million cell phones. Every week, they go through roughly 137 million gallons of water. That is more water than what Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida goes through in a week, which is around 120 million gallons. I did not even know that before doing research for this video, but that level of waste is nothing short of horrifying. Now, when you factor in the roughly 200 million people who use ChatGPT on a weekly basis for things they should really be able to do for themselves, it shows the environmental demands are truly staggering and clearly unsustainable. This is what happens when a lot of people have convinced themselves they don't use AI that much, but when the same idea is being echoed internally by 200 million people. That is how you get to a severe environmental crisis without realizing it until the damage is already done. God, life sucks. Anyway, the online backlash against OpenAI got so bad that major animation figures, companies, and professional artists didn't mince words and made it abundantly clear just how dangerous this technology is. It wasn't just cheapening the look of the Ghibli brand. It also trivializes the amount of technical skill required to make their films in general, along with the amount of stolen material data scraped to even make that module in the first place. Their critics also included G-Kids, the American distributor for Ghibli's movies, as they had just released a 4K restoration of Princess Mononoke for IMAX theaters in the US, like the exact same weekend. In a statement with Variety, G-Kids distribution VP Chance Husky said, quote, "In a time when technology tries to replicate humanity, we are thrilled that audiences value a theatrical experience that respects and celebrates Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli's masterpiece in all of its cinematic hand-drawn glory." End quotes. Honestly, I kind of love that. Not even kind of, I love it. It's one of the most polite clapbacks that is just dripping in sarcasm. I personally would have been a lot meaner. They absolutely deserve it. I briefly saw this cease and desist floating around Twitter, but it turns out some random AI user faked that too. Twitter sucks, but hey, thank God for community notes on this one because it is so pathetic. Now, there is one silver lining to this whole fiasco. This module has become a monkey's paw for OpenAI as a company. They got what they wanted, but had no idea what it would cost them to get it. So many people have been using the Ghibli filters at once that the amount of images being demanded are melting the servers, to the point where ChatGPT had to limit free users to 3 generations per day. It is also costing OpenAI a fortune to keep everything going. Oh, boo-hoo! Oh, no rest for the wicked, go fuck yourselves. Get back to the chum bucket, Sam. You got selfies to generate from some Randy in Iowa. The amount of copyright infringement and false information created by these chatbots is honestly overwhelming. OpenAI is still in the middle of a major lawsuit with the New York Times and a few other newspapers who are suing them for copyright infringement because OpenAI has been training ChatGPT by using stolen articles for its writing modules.
I'll steal it! No one will ever know!
One way or another, karma is catching up with them. And hopefully, Studio Ghibli is planning on suing them too. They definitely have a case. The impact this scandal will have on the environment, along with their studio identity, is nothing short of staggering. But what can we do as Ghibli fans? Well, don't use AI in general. Learn the value of actually teaching yourself a new skill and challenge yourself to get there without taking shortcuts. Folks, I get a ton of praise for the quality of my character avatars, but in case you did not know this, I didn't draw them. And folks are like, what? You fake. No, it wasn't me. And I hope that didn't blow your minds too much, but it's actually my girlfriend Rishi. She drew them. And yes, I paid her for making them. She has spent years working hard to get to this point in character design. But I'm also learning how to draw with her help, along with using books and online tutorials as a guide. I see all this AI stuff currently happening, and I said, Steven, learn, okay? Take this chance to indulge yourself in the human experience and learn a new skill. Earn it. All right, that's part of being alive. That's a part of being human, is to immerse yourself. Don't let some robot do it for you. That cheapens the results. That robs you of an experience and a skill. Yeah, I'm not that good at art. Everyone needs to start somewhere. And folks, by the end of the year, I hope I can show you where I started and where I ended. Because art is hard, but my God, it feels so good to grow a new skill. It makes me feel alive. That being said, yeah, I get frustrated not being at the point where I want to be with making art, but hey, that's okay, that's normal. It is just like working out a muscle, which I have. Oh, I'm flexing in the recording booth. You do eventually get better at it with dedication, consistency, using the right techniques, and taking breaks to not burn yourself out. The important thing is that you're actually learning how to do it yourself and getting there at your own pace.
A real loser is somebody that's so afraid of not winning, they don't even try. Now you're trying, right?
Lately, it feels like people are so self-conscious about being bad at something that they don't even want to try to do it themselves and just shop it out to artificial intelligence. I'm gonna stop abbreviating AI for this video because that is what it is. It is artificial intelligence. It's fake knowledge for people pretending to know how to do something, but not bothering to spend the time, energy, or dedication to actually learn how to do it themselves. And while it might be tempting to take the easy way out, it doesn't make you a resilient or capable person. It just keeps people lazy, entitled, and dumb. And that is a terrible way to go through life. Personally, I don't think there's anything bleaker than choosing to outsource the arts to a machine. The Butlerian jihad is upon us, folks. We gotta kill these machines. But honestly, they're called the humanities for a reason, because we have the ability to put our feelings, our thoughts, our ideas into real creative works. Studio Ghibli movies find beauty in everything from the mundane to the fantastical, because they know the effort being put into getting there is worth making the journey in the first place. So folks, please do not give up on yourself. Keep trying and don't outsource that creativity to a computer. Each bad drawing is another stepping stone into making an even better one. And you can actually feel proud of the effort you put into working towards it because it wasn't handed to you or generated on a computer. You earned it by pushing yourself to get there, and that is well worth the journey. So overall, those are my thoughts on this AI Ghibli nonsense. I hope they sue ChatGPT into the dirt. It's stealing, it's copyright infringement, and it's wrong. Don't be a part of the problem, be part of the solution. But hey folks, those are just my overall thoughts. What do you all think? Tell me down below in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.